The wonderful Kathy Kirby, and you know, it didn't actually pass my first guest's eye to know that that was a remix, or so they say. Let me tell you who's just come into the studio. I am so excited. Neil Sean is here, a friend of the radio stations, but I haven't seen you hardly at all over the past 18 months, Neil.
No. Well, the last time I was here, can I just say, I was plugging, of course, West End Stars in Conversation.
Yes, you were, yes.
But now I've got bigger news because I am the writer in residence for Travelodge.
Oh, are you really? Does that mean you're in room 69 or something, or whatever? I mean, where do you work from? Do you work from...
No, listen, I'll be back later in the year, writing my book, How to Live the Celebrity Life for Free, but we're travelling all around Travelodges around the UK, and then you come along and you see me writing the book.
What a fantastic idea, though, How to Live the Celebrity Life for Free.
And it's full of tips, seriously. I mean, I'll be coming for yours, and it's full of celebrities from J-Lo to Duchess of York.
It's a fantastic
They tell me little
idea.
bits, but people don't believe you when you say you're staying in a Travelodge. I won't say which one because I'll be mobbed, but I'm staying in one quite near to Baker Street right now.
Oh, because there's one in Battersea that whenever I pass, they seem to be extending. It's near the garden centre as well. So you can get your perennials at the same time.
There's one coming up in Vauxhall. I'm hoping they're going to ask me to open it.
Fantastic. Then you've made it. Now, before we introduce our other guests, have a little listen to this.
This girl was one of the most attractive women on the planet at that time. She got an hourglass figure, and she always sort of exploited her bosoms whenever she could.
If she got a lot of what they call the mo, can't help it, the girl can't help it. The girl can't help it, she was born to please. Can't help it, the girl can't help it.
Jane's love affair with England had started way back in the 50s when she'd come over for premieres of her movies. But really, she valued the fact that the fans over here in the UK had stuck by her. Hence the reason she decided to do a tour of northern clubs.
We all realised that she had a great charisma, but not a particularly brilliant voice. But so did she. She was fully aware of that fact.
Oh, Ram is her everything, everything grand.
We really wanted to look like her. We bought the kind of dresses she wore, if we could afford them, and we wanted her look. She was the Cheryl Cole, maybe, of her day.
Oh, gee, given the opportunity, there isn't a gal in town who wouldn't say, when I'm strolling down the lane with Billy, that's my greatest thrill.
Jane Mansfield at Armley Prison in Yorkshire was something else. Apparently she went on stage and said, "Do you want to see my chihuahuas?"
What kind of a girl do you think I am? Later on, I would very much like to do the role of Blanche Dubois in Streetcar Named Desire.
On the stage or in another movie?
Either. I don't care. The medium, I think, is very secondary to the role.
Oh, I didn't want it to stop. I'm telling you, this is a fantastic DVD. It is literally about Jane Mansfield when she visited Yorkshire. And I'm really pleased to say we have got, we've got two producers here and one contributor. Neil Sean, welcome back.
Thank you.
Also, fellow contributor Sharaz Ali. Welcome, Sharaz.
Thank you very much.
And also Neil Sean's mum, who is one of my very, very close friends, and is also, I think it was all down to you, Anne, that this even kicked off. Is that right?
Oh, well, I'd like to think so, of course. Hopefully, yes. But it's, as you said, a very, very good DVD, and I'm in it. I mean, that makes it even better.
But you say a very clever thing there. You say she was the Cheryl Cole of her day. And,
she was.
And you know, when we were getting the clips together, Mel, who'd never really seen Jane Mansfield before, he just went, "Oh my God, she's gorgeous." And she was absolutely gorgeous. But unknown to almost everybody, I think, listening to us tonight, that she ever went to Yorkshire. Why did she, and how long was she there for, Neil?
Well, it was interesting because what happened was I worked with Shiraz making documentaries, and we were looking for the next, subject. And I was talking to Dad about different things, and I said to him, what we need is somebody who'd probably come to Yorkshire. And of course, everybody talks about Morecambe and Wise and all the usual. And he said, well, of course, Jane Mansfield came to Yorkshire. And I think, and he said, well, actually, your mother and I went to see her. And you think, right. And so suddenly, just that one conversation, and he found the clip in the paper and said, this is what happened. And as we unfolded the story, you're thinking, just to put it into an equation of today, it would be like Angelina Jolie popping up, say, at the Clapham Grand for a week and just singing to the punters. Now, she got £20,000 for the week. Career technically would be slightly on the skids, if you like. I mean, what people may not know in London is that she actually opened the Chiswick flyover in 1959. She would do anything, effectively.
Do you know, when I first started this show, which I think you were on in the first year I first started this show, we had a lorry driver who told me that, and Pete Sport, who's the head of our sport here, confirmed it, because I said, you are joking. What, Jane Mansfield opened the Chiswick flyover? And Pete Sport came into the studio and went, I remember that. I mean, we're talking, when she arrived in Yorkshire, it was 1967, am I right?
Oh, yes.
And she was absolutely stunning. I mean, you were saying, Neil, that you think her career was on the way down, but she, to look at, was in her prime, wasn't she?
She looked fabulous. It was on the way down, her career, of course, because Marilyn was still sort of, I think, everybody wanted to watch her pictures, and Jane kind of was out of fashion for a while. Jane also spoke about 5 languages, you know, played the violin, liked to recite Shakespeare. And of course, when she came to Batley, she said to the manager, maybe I could do my Shakespeare. He said, maybe not. No, in this club they want a little more. What can you do, love? He said. So she thought of something. And she was a girl, apparently, who never said no to anything. If you asked her for a picture, she would have your picture, you know, she would take a picture with you. And if you asked her to open anything, even the Chiswick flyover, she would do it.
And was she at that time with anyone? Was she married?
She was with Sam Cody, the chap, unfortunately, who was driving the car when they were both killed.
Right. I didn't even know anything about her death at all. And did Sam come over with her?
Oh, yes, he was very protective, a bit too protective, people said. You know, he never let her out of his sight. He was a funny chap, really, but they never got around to getting married. They were going to, I think, but never quite got to it. But he was the driver of the car that went into the back of a truck. Very sad.
And you and Alan, your husband, Neil says you went to see her.
Oh, we did.
And where did you see her?
Oh, at Batley Variety Club.
Is that still standing?
It is. It's now called the Frontier Club. It's a nightclub, but occasionally they do have star artists on, you see, and they had everybody on in those days, and Jane was the highlight. I think it's fair to say the club had more men in it that week than usual. Ladies kind of thought, yes, but the men loved her, you see.
And she was, I mean, I suppose, we had Diana Dawes, didn't we? Which I never thought she compared to Jane or Marilyn, really. But the big deal for all this, Sharaz, is that unlike now, we didn't have access to any of these big Hollywood stars at all, did we? So to even see them in London was a big deal, but to see them, you know, is it Batley? Batley's such a great... It was such a big deal, wasn't it?
That's what really attracted me. I was talking to Neil, but in those days, you want people to come, you expect them to come to London. And at all places, they were in basically middle of nowhere up in Midlands, in Yorkshire. And it was just superb. I mean, for the people there, half the people, whoever knew, a lot of people travel from around the world to see her, to get closer to her. And that's what really attracted me, because it was like...
You couldn't get over it when we went there. But there's nothing here.
No, I know, but that's what's so bizarre. And that's why I think this has more kudos than the Marilyn. I mean, we have a very famous Marilyn Monroe lookalike. I don't know if you know her, Susie Kennedy, who comes on this show quite a lot, who maintains an awful lot of that film, My Week with Marilyn, was fiction. And she goes on and on about it. She says, you know, she's done her research so thoroughly. She said there was one grain of an idea there or of fact, and they just elaborated. Whereas this, you've got all these talking heads, you know, and I'd love to know where you got all these people from. We played some of them out on the clip. Who are the people that substantiate this story on the DVD?
Obviously, we started with Mum and Dad, and then myself and Shiraz went up to meet these people. We actually dug them up, if you like, who'd worked with
They've got great faces, haven't they?
They all look
real Yorkshire faces.
When we sat down with them, you know, you've got to remember, just to give a bit, Shiraz is a young man, and he obviously, you know, he was along the way. I'm having to say, no, this is Diana Dawes, right? You know, and Diana Dawes, you mentioned her. She came along to see Jane, and it's a great clip in the DVD where the manager brings her round. And apparently the door opens and they just cat-eye each other for about 5 minutes. And there's a picture, but you can sense the tension because according to the manager, Jane had no idea who Dinah really was.
Really? Yeah.
And Dinah got a little bit plumper at that point. Jane was still looking good. And I think, from Matt's side of it, but I don't know, what did you, when you met some of these contributors, what was your thoughts now? What did you were impressed by their story?
I was impressed because it's like you could listen to them all day.
Yes.
I mean, it was so hard when we decided what to keep in the edit or not.
Yes.
It was so difficult because there's so much quality of content from that time, and first person previews of obviously being there, seeing everything, talking to the people. And it's just trying to sum it all down to put it into this DVD so everyone can enjoy
They're
it.
fantastic. I mean, the talking heads are fantastic because they are great characters and great faces. But also you've got clips, which I don't know, as producers, is that a nightmare to get copyright of those, because you've got, I mean, Anne, I do a dog show once a week called Barking at the Moon, and I was obsessed with the fact that she had 2 chihuahuas.
Yeah.
This is not a euphemism.
Dogs,
she really loved dogs, didn't she?
And she'd sneak them in. She put them in her pockets of a fur coat. And when she got off the plane at Manchester Airport, she gave it to the PR man. And he unknowingly sort of slung it over his arm, walks out through customs and everything, and then she picks it up and then pulls the dogs out and does the photo call.
It's fantastic.
You couldn't do that now.
So how did you get all those clips? Did people contribute them to you? Did you get them, or are they movie reel ones? Or where did you get them all?
Well, a mixture really, wasn't it? We got some from the actual source, but some of the contributors, including Anne and the others, came with pictures we'd never seen before. There's this fantastic picture of Jane at a fete in Brighouse that this woman had left and given a box to this guy, and she's literally signing. There's about 20 people there, and she's signing autographs. Now, just to equate Brighouse to anybody listening in London, how would you say? What would you say, Anne? It's like
small town.
Yeah,
very
Guildford.
small
It's
town.
probably like Guildford.
Oh no,
Smaller.
Guildford is terrific.
There is a band though, isn't there? The Brighouse Band.
Brighouse and Rastrick Band.
Yeah.
Yes,
won
I
many
thought it
awards.
did.
A brass
Yes.
band.
Colouring
Yes.
band.
Yeah.
But it's just
Anne is fighting for it.
lovely place. But what I mean is, for
One
her
street.
to turn up.
Yes, one street town.
Yeah.
But do you know what I get from this, Neil? And you were saying, and the camera doesn't lie, actually. And you were saying that she's a bit of a Tom Cruise and that she loved signing. She loved meeting people. Yeah. And from what you can see of these clips, there was no, as my mother would say, there was no side to her. She was just a warm, very, very gentle, giving, stunning sex symbol. And you wonder how someone with that amount of status can remain so unruined by it. Do you think she was?
Oh, are you talking about Jane or me? I got lost there. I kind of think that, on a serious note, I think the difficult thing that we found, all of us making the film, was that where you kind of wonder where could it go after this? Really, where could she go? She'd made, when she died, she had 4 million, which was a lot of money in 67. And our recent Eurovision hopeful, Engelbert Humperdinck, bought her Pink Palace mansion because he dated her for a while.
Oh, my God.
So he had it right through to 2002. And I don't know. I mean, we were kind of interested in where the story would have gone. She could have maybe reinvented herself as a more serious actress, but then she would have had to got rid of the hair and pared down. She didn't really see herself in that vein, and she realised by tottering around in high heels, even if it being badly, means 20 grand a week. It's a bit like you were doing this show, Joe.
Exactly. Listen, we have to leave it there. This is a fantastic DVD, and if for all those, and I know loads of my listeners are huge Jayne Mansfield fans, this is a really fantastic gift, actually, to give. Well, your loved one, your parents, your grandparents, your aunt, your uncle, because it is My Week with Marilyn, but far more accessible, and I think far more, honest and truthful, to be quite honest. Some fantastic clips in it, as well as yet unseen clips of Jane, but also of all the talking heads. It's called Jayne Mansfield, From Hollywood to Yorkshire. Where can people get hold of it, Neil?
It is available from Amazon right now. It's out officially on June the 9th, and it is, of course, from odeonentertainment.co.uk.
Right, so no one can get it until June the 9th.
Well, you can pre-order it now. But it will be delivered within 2 working days. Am I right, Shiraz? 2 working days.
If you didn't get any of that, ring our switchboard and speak to Mel. And it's bright pink and she is stunning, and it's Jayne Mansfield, From Hollywood to Yorkshire. I've been speaking to Anne Montini, the wonderful Neil Sean and the fantastic Shiraz Ali. Thank you so much. Please all come back again.
We will.
And congratulations on this as well.